biggest lessons I ever learned, or harshest realities I ever, had to come to, is realizing that men do not care about your accomplishments as a woman. They don't care about your education. They don't care about your degrees. They don't care about how much money you're making. They don't care about, what businesses you're running. They don't care about any of that stuff.
Hello, my friends, and welcome back. Welcome back to another session with the older man. So you heard what the young lady said. And one thing I learned about doing this podcast for the last 2 years is that it doesn't matter what I say. There will be those people who always criticize something that I say. And one of the biggest complaints is, Paul, why do you keep criticizing female nature and not give solutions? And I keep trying to get people to understand that the reason why I highlight female behavior is to, number one, let you guys understand how to deal with it. As a man, it is your responsibility to understand female nature. Women do not look at understanding male nature. They will only look at the negative parts. That's it. They were never really taught to understand men. They were only taught to fear men. That's it. That's the reality of it, man. I want every single lady right now to just think about how they were taught growing up. Oh, you got to watch out for those men, you got to watch out for those men. You got to watch out for those boys. Be careful of those boys. That's all you've been told. You have never been told how to take care of a man. That has never been part of a parent's understanding to teaching their child.
What's something you'll get a lot of hate for if you say it out loud?
That men, their whole life was taught how to treat a woman and not what to expect from a woman. Women were taught their whole life what to expect from a man, but not how to treat a man.
Every mother has warned that daughter about men and being careful. And you know what? Every father has inadvertently done the same thing. Men have never looked at their daughters and say, hey, this is how you got to take care of a man. Gentlemen, please tell me if you've ever sat your daughters down and said, listen, this is how you got to take care of a man. Let me know. Honestly, please, let me know if you have sat your daughters down. I bet you have said, this is how you take care of your home. This is how you take care of your kids. This is how you take care of cleaning, cooking, etc. But you've never, ever mentioned how to take care of a man. Be honest with me. I'd love to hear from you in the comments. So when you ask me, why is it that you don't give solutions and stop criticizing? I have to tell you the reason, and the only reason we can solve this thing is exactly how this woman have came across this discovery. She's heard many times, I'm sure, that men don't care about her accomplishments. But now she's waking up to the reality of it. This is an awakening for her. And so this is the main video that we're going to get into, but I'm also going to respond to a few comments that people have written in on the comment section on some of my videos that sort of coincides with what we're talking about today. Okay, so my friends, subscribe if you haven't already. Book a session if you need any help, any mentoring, anything at all. I'm the father that you never had. I'm the mentor that you didn't have. Okay? And of course, go over to the merch store, pick up a few items if you want to support the channel. That's the best way to do it. And of course, join the membership system. It's free. Come over there and meet some like-minded people. Man, I'm so excited about this coming year. I'm going to be bringing in some nice AI tools to help you guys create, start businesses. Listen, the whole world is going digital. If a lot of you are still focusing on staying in the real world, so to speak, a lot of you are going to get left behind as more and more the world turn to a digital world. And you know me, I mean, I am seriously hooked on AI. I'm going all in on AI. Just the mere fact that I can be a one-man show at this moment and creating video day in, day out, every single day, I'm harnessing the power of AI to help me with editing, to help me with getting good, clear thoughts, to pretty much all aspects of producing content. I'm writing a book, I'm doing courses. All of this is done with the help of AI. I'm not saying AI alone because the AI still can't get deep, deep in my brain. But what it can do, it could actually help me become a better writer. I can give it my general thoughts, and it could help me put those thoughts together where it's cohesive, where it's not a pile of jumbled blah, 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 vomit, verbal vomit. It makes me a great writer, but it's my thoughts. So look forward to an amazing AI tool that I've done in conjunction with some pros, and I'm bringing that to you guys. If you guys are interested, just pop me over a private message or in the comment section. I'm going to find it, and I will send you this information. All right. So, my friends, let's get into today's video. Let's hear what else this young lady has to say.
If they do not find you attractive, they will not go out of their way for you whatsoever. They will walk right past you to a beautiful woman. And the thing about it is, the sooner you like realize that and accept it, you won't even get like offended by it. Like, because the thing about it, men and women are just wired differently. A real man doesn't really have to care what a woman has going on. If he has, money, if he has education, all that kind of stuff, it's not like you can't even really fault it. Like, men have the luxury, because for the most part across, I don't even know if I would go as far as saying like across the world, but for the most part in most communities, men make more money than women. So they have the luxury of being able to date for things outside of stability, even general, sometimes even compatibility. They can date for whatever reason they want to, whereas women, sometimes we're looking for other stuff.
Oh, stop skirting around the freaking word. You're looking for a man with money. No, we're looking for other stuff. No, you're looking for freaking resources. Hypergamy. You're looking for a man with more. It is in your nature to find a man who has more resources than you, simply because when you have a child, you are more vulnerable. You now have to protect not only yourself, which you might be able to do quite comfortably, but now when you throw a child in the mix, that costs have just multiplied exponentially, simply because we live in a day and an age where having kids are expensive. So you need a man who can make money for himself and provide for himself, but also enough money that could help you out and that child or children, 2 or more, when you meet that man or when you guys get together. Now listen, things have changed significantly since Mr. Kevin Samuel's been around, when, he pushed this whole idea that men don't care about your money. Average men nowadays, they do care. They care if you're coming into the relationship with debt. Only thing worse than not having money is having debt, meaning having less than having money. How do you say that? Meaning you're in the negative. If you want to do an analogy, not having any money is that you're standing on solid ground, okay? No debt, but you don't have any assets. You have nothing, not a pot to piss in, but you don't have any debt, okay? That is a broke person. And so what do we call a person who has so much debt that they literally are in the hole? They're underground, okay? That's the person most men fear. So when you say that he don't care, yeah, he cares. He don't want to get involved with a woman where when she walk into a relationship that she is underwater, under the ground, in such deep debt, whether she has a degree or not, that he now has to try to dig her out of that hole. Now, the reason why he don't care if you're above ground that much is because he knows that you're not sharing that money with him. You don't want to contribute that money to the family. You're only interested in holding that for yourself and your security. That's the main reason. However, gentlemen, in today's environment, after COVID, to be honest with you, after COVID, the cost of living has gone up so much that you better start looking at what the woman is bringing to the table as far as money is concerned. Because we are now in a day and age where we can no longer provide with one average man providing for another woman, let alone a woman and a child, or worse, 2 kids. We can't do it anymore. We need dual incomes. That's what feminism have done. They've put two people into the workplace and split the income those two people are making in half. So now we need those two halves to actually contribute to operating a family. That's the problem we have. So now men have to look at women and what they're bringing to the table financially. I'm talking about average men. Above average men, we're talking about the top 20%. They will be able to provide for wife and child. But average men, nope, that shit ain't happening. It's not possible. And this is the reason why so many women are seeing illegible men who can no longer provide. Because it's impossible. The economy just don't provide those opportunities to men or women.
We can have $1 million in the bank. A lot of women would still want a man that has more money than them or has something equal or something similar. I'm not saying all women, but a lot of women, because they're just scared, they know it makes them an easy target for men that are leeches and moochers and, just want to use them.
So how do you think men feel on a daily basis? How do you think men feel every day women are trying to shame him into spending his money? Throwing a bit of panani in his face and then telling him, oh, I love you, give me your money. Oh, I love you, give me your money. Millions of videos are created about how to get money out of men. You don't think men should be scared? Yes. As this economy gets worse, more and more men are holding on to their money. They're not interested in women because they know that women just want to take their money. This is the impasse. This is the point at which both males and females meet, and they're inches apart, but they're not committing because men do not trust today's modern woman. The trust is gone. Feminism have messed that up for you all.
But men, they just are wired differently. They can go after what's beautiful. So realizing that as a woman, I also had to come to the other harsh reality of what my grandmother told me when I was like maybe 14 or 15. She told me that you have to maintain your appearance as a woman until the day you die. And I know some of y'all are thinking like, well, damn, Taylor, you didn't listen. I don't wear makeup all the time, but I still kind of feel like I'm put together. I always have good hygiene. I always maintain, a certain level of fitness. Y'all know my mother died. She had a stroke when I was 13. So I always try to maintain a certain level of fitness. But she told me that you have to be it all, or like you have to you can be funny, you can be smart, you can be strong, you can be, all of these other things, but you can never neglect your appearance in the process.
And your grandmother was right. But this same thing applies to men, especially in today's modern environment. Because women are looking for the same things men are looking for in their women. These women are looking for a good-looking man. You got to stay in shape. You got to keep your shit together. Not only your finances, but everything else. So trust me, it's important for both males, but more important, females to keep themselves in good shape because men are visual creatures. But the only difference between males and females is that once the female has caught the male and he is now in a relationship or in a marriage with her, it's very difficult for him to get out if he wants to. So she can balloon to 300 pounds, but it's going to be a nightmare for him to leave her because she's going to come for half of the resources that he's built. But now what's going to happen and what has to happen, average people, if they don't get together and create families, we're going to see a downfall in the birth rates, which is what we're seeing now because women want men that are much higher than them, even though they're average. So the average men are either going overseas or they're saying, I'm out of the game. So what that creates is the lack of a family structure. And until more and more women wake up and see more and more videos like I am creating, showing them that they are the majority of the problem due to the feminist ideals, nothing is going to change. Well, there's only one other thing that will change you, and that is father time. When they have reached a point in life where the results that they were expecting is not coming to them. And some women will drag that out until their 40s and 50s. And then reality slaps the shit out of them. And then they got to wake up and realize, I need to lower my standards. When they have gone through life and every bad boy there has ever been, and you know the story, They've been beaten out by life and by other men, and then some poor sucker in his later years, she's expecting him to come and pick up the pieces. But channels like these are waking those men up to realize that, listen, the juice ain't worth the squeeze. Go to the Philippines. Go to Latin America. Go to where women are much more agreeable. Fit, friendly, feminine, agreeable. The risk is a lot lower overseas because most men want to get married. I can tell you, ladies, the large majority of men want a good, peaceful life with a good woman. But unfortunately, a lot of you don't fit the criteria. That's the problem. So yeah, I got to keep making these videos to wake you up. Now, she pretty much waffles on about all the other ills that comes with what men don't want. So I'm going to go on and share these other videos with you.
It's very natural for men to put their wives and their kids' happiness above their own. And it can get to the point, this is very normal, where a man doesn't even know if he's happy. And it's very easy to look at a man like this and think that he doesn't care, think that he's emotionally distant, think that he's disconnected. But it's not because he doesn't care, not because he doesn't love his wife and his kids. It's because he loves them so much that he's forgotten himself. Maybe when he shares his needs, he's not met with understanding and empathy. Maybe he's met with an attack where they get brushed off. That's a man who's broken inside. That's a man who's not going to make it to the finish line. That's a man who is going to one day get resentful and maybe even seek to get his needs met somewhere else.
And that is the truth. Women can't understand the simple fact that men do not leave if they're unhappy. They stay and stick it out. And they will stick it out and stick it out and stick it out until it gets to a point where it's so unbearable, where his health and his old spirit starts to crumble. And now, ladies, you're going to say that's the same thing with you. The difference between males and females is that your idea of happiness is not happiness on a whole, but small pleasures. Usually consisting of, he is not buying you enough of this. You don't have enough of one thing. It's always a collection of things that you don't have because you have been pushed into this ideal that you need to be going on vacations. If you look at all these videos and what women want out of a marriage, I need to go on a vacation at least once or twice a year. I want to be able to have, things that I need. In other words, if the man isn't providing enough crap for you to be pleasured, then you're going to have a problem with your happiness. But unfortunately, what you're doing is you've associated pleasure with happiness. The difference is men don't get a massive amount of pleasure from things. A man is more than happy to get a fishing rod and go and sit on a freaking lake and go fishing. He's happy just going and play a few dart games, going to a football game, watching it on TV. None of these things require massive expenditure. Whereas if you're not buying her flowers, if you're not buying her jewelry, if you're not buying her a trip, if you're not buying her fine dining restaurants, if you're not buying, then she's not happy. And that's what makes men exhausted.
Everyone talks about toxic masculinity, but what no one talks about is toxic generosity. If you give something to someone once, they will appreciate it. If you give someone something twice, they will anticipate it. If you give someone something 3 times, they will expect it. If you give someone something a 4th time, they will feel entitled to it. Worst off, if you give someone something 5 times, they will become dependent on it. Especially for those of us who came from nothing. The desire to give to those around us is nearly impossible to avoid. It both feeds our need to be seen as accomplished, and we genuinely think it will help. Unfortunately, it does not. You see, the more you give, the more they need. The more they need, the more they take. The more they take, the lower they go. Until the day comes that you see you have become their enabler, and they are at rock bottom, doing nothing because they know that you will fix it. And when you do stop, out of love, you will become the monster responsible for all of their problems.
I hope you listen to this 2 or 3 times, gentlemen, so you can understand why you do not keep giving. Do not keep giving. Because like I said previously, that pleasure that you give the woman when you do this just keeps getting worse and worse and worse until she's dependent on you feeding her that hit every single time. And she'll never, ever be happy.
Okay, so here's a little tidbit I would have given myself when I was younger in terms of dating. Date somebody who gives you what you need, not necessarily what you want, because what you want will change as you age, and what you need will always remain the same. At it?
I just want to read this one comment that was made by one of my followers. 90s Baby 90. Addressing the pink elephant in the room. Women ruin dating for everybody. How can you build anything with people who leave because they aren't happy? And now men have to adapt. Change their dating strategy to meet this new climate. Now everybody's jaded because so many genuine people have been used, played, betrayed, and TikTok is your new best friend to dump all your failed dating experiences. Wow. And that pretty much ties up the dating market. Scary as shit. But a lot of women don't understand. You all changed the rules. You all wanted more. You all wanted everything. Men didn't change. No, certain things had to change. But you didn't have to ask for everything. Men gave you a lot. But like that video said, when you give a little, they expect everything in the end. Dependency. Once you change the game, men has to change his strategy to attract you. Men are the hunters. All right, my friends, listen, I'm going to shut this one off here now. Please, let's have a discussion on this because this is important. When do you think that these women will wake up and realize that the majority of the problems are born from their side? When do you think that these women are going to realize that there wasn't a program called maleism that made men want to actually act like females? But there is a program in place right now called feminism that makes women act like men and then tell men that they should accept these females even though they're more like males. The programming runs deep. That's the reason why I have to keep doing these videos over and over again so that it sinks in. The new generation will have to wake up. Otherwise, our civilization as it is will go extinct. And as we see with most modern women, they don't give a shit. We're not baby-making machines. Yeah, yes, you are. Yes, we both are. We both are. You're an incubator. I plant the seed. Every single living organism is a baby-making machine. And when the day comes when we've made incubators, which we already have, it's just too damn expensive to do it. Reality of it is, it's already existing. It's just that it's covert and it's too expensive. But the day will come when it's going to be normal. Where the man and the woman's freaking sperm and seed are placing to a tube and where we go from inception to incubation to full term. The woman can then go out and act more like a man. We're getting there. That'll be a sorrowful day, but we're getting there. The only species that ever existed where, hey, women don't want to be women. All right, guys, listen, subscribe. I could ramble on about this stuff all day. Hit me up in the comment section. By all means, join our membership system, my friends, and book a chat with me. So until next time, remember, whenever in doubt, always, always ask an older man. I'll see you in the next one. Cheers.